From the west to the east, to the north, and to the south of our country, the APC with their governors have been busy building a better life for Nigerians. The APC with their governors have built more roads, schools, bridges, hospitals, universities, and independent power plants, generated more internal revenue, and created more jobs than the rest of the Federation combined. Now, imagine what we could do when we are the federal government.
Vote for change! Vote APC! APC! Change!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to CoreTV News at 7. I am Frank Malape, and here are some of the stories for filing now. The Independent National Electoral Commission is not prepared to tinker with the date set aside for elections next month. INEC Chairman Tahir Jega said on Friday that no logistic challenge can stop the presidential election from holding on February 14. Jega, who was speaking at the launch of an EU-sponsored project on preventing electoral violence, said INEC never considered shifting the elections in spite of the challenges of distributing permanent voter cards.
I do not want to comment on this. Like everybody, we read that in the papers. I myself, many things have been attributed to me which I know I didn't say. So until I can confirm and get clarification, it will be premature for me at this public event to start commenting on that. In any case, normally what I communicate is Commission's decision. And the Commission has not sat, has not discussed this matter, has not taken a position on it. So I will beg people to be a bit more patient. I have said everything we are doing, including the challenge of the distribution of permanent voters' cards, we believe is something we can address long before February 14th.
A coalition of 60 civil society groups has rejected a demand by the National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, for next month's elections to be postponed. The Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room described the excuses given by the NSA as an unnecessary interference in INEC's independence. The coalition recollects that the Commission Chairman, Professor Tahir Jega, recently assured CSOs that every effort will be made to ensure that intending voters collect their permanent voters' cards before the federal elections. It therefore urged INEC to put measures in place to ensure unhindered and speedy distribution of any outstanding and uncollected PVCs. It says also wants Nigerians to go out en masse to collect their PVCs before the end of the exercise. And now one of Nigeria's 28 registered political parties, the People's Democratic Movement, has resolved to back the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, in the February 14 election. The decision was taken at a National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. PDM Chairman Bashir Ibrahim said in a communique issued at the end of the meeting that party leaders consider the track record of Buhari and that of the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan before making a choice. The party says it has 6 million registered members across the country and will mobilize them to vote for the APC candidate on February 14. It, however, noted that it will be fielding candidates for other elected positions. The People's Democratic Party has dismissed the statement of result of Muhammadu Buhari, which was released by Government College Katsina, as a forged document. It also demanded the arrest and prosecution of those behind the forgery. Spokesman for the PDP's presidential campaign, Femi Fani-Kayode, said at a news conference in Abuja that the desperation to get power at all costs made APC and its presidential candidate to forge his school certificate result.
Our conclusion from all this is that the documents purportedly released by Government College Pilot Katsina, upon which the APC presidential candidate hopes to bury the doubt about his eligibility for next month's election, are forged, manipulated, and fraudulently procured. They are therefore untenable in fact and in law. We do not know who the authors and masterminds of this forgery are, but whoever they are, we urge them to come forward and be identified. If they fail to come forward voluntarily, we hereby call on the police and other security agencies to seek them out, find them, arrest them, interrogate them, and prosecute them in accordance with the laws of the land. We reiterate our call on General Buhari to submit himself to the police to answer charges of perjury, having lied on oath about his academic qualifications. This is what a man who claims to represent integrity and due process ought to do in this situation.
Meanwhile, the All Progressive Congress says it will rather engage the PDP campaign spokesman Femi Fani-Kayode on the issues of good governance rather than response to provocative statements. The party's campaign office said through its spokesman Garba Shehu that it was laughable that the ruling party will not let go of a matter that has been laid to rest. He insisted that the APC and its candidates are in the presidential campaign to discuss issues that will improve the standard of living of Nigerians and ensure that they are properly secured. Shehu added that PDP is promoting distractions to provide a cover for the shortcomings of the Jonathan administration in the areas of security, employment, war against corruption, and infrastructure. The All Progressive Congress has petitioned Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba over what he described as a morbid advert sponsored by Governor Ayo Fayoṣe of Ekiti State and published on the cover pages of 2 national dailies on January 19. In the petition signed by the Rivers State Governor and Director General of the party's presidential campaign, Rotimi Amechi, the APC said the manner its candidate was portrayed as a dead man walking was in bad state. According to the petition, the portrayal of Buhari as likely to die in office just like past northern leaders such as Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Sani Abacha and Murtala Muhammad was reckless and irresponsible. It added that the political advert is also capable of undermining law and order in the country. The APC petition also drew the IG's attention to the fact that Fayoṣe's adverts violated the spirit and letter of the peace accord signed by all political parties and the presidential candidate. It therefore urged the police and other security forces to investigate the origin of Fayoṣe's advert and call him to order. Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Governor Fayoṣe has again taken his wipe at the candidature of Muhammadu Buhari. Fayoṣe speaking at his party's campaign rally in Ekiti North Senatorial District while drumming support for various candidates of the party from Ekiti North says is that Victoria plays in major dailies is to show that Muhammadu Buhari as president is an avenue for some other politicians to rule as proxy.
This is politics. It's politics. Like every politics of the world in America, everybody says exactly the high points of your candidates and the weak points of your opponents. That's politics. And like I said, I have no apologies. I'm saying the obvious. I meant every word in that advert. I am not apologetic about it. I say it emphatically, Nigeria needs a young, dynamic, active individual to lead this country. We don't want a president that will rule by proxy. I stand by that advert.
Still in Ekiti State, the state governor, Ayo Fayoṣe, has signed the 2015 appropriation bill into law. Fayoṣe will promises to execute the budget to the letter, also sign amongst other bills the law to repeal the establishment of the Ekiti State Peace Corps. The Speaker and leader of the PDP caucus in the State House of Assembly, Dele Olugbemi, used the opportunity to call on the 19 APC lawmakers to return to their legislative job. Our correspondent Rashid Rashid tells us more in this report.
At a brief ceremony that saw the governor sign 4 bills into law, the Speaker and leader of the PDP caucus in the House of Assembly, Dele Olugbemi, expresses support for the government of Fayoṣe as he advised APC lawmakers to resume their legislative duties.
The APC lawmakers who have constituted themselves into a roving ambassadors should choose the path of honors and come back home to join hands with the present administration. They should wake up to the realities of things in the state and stop daydreaming. This is my honest advice to them.
The governor, Ayodele Fawashe, who signed the 2015 budget into law, also signed into law the change of Ekiti State logo back to the Fountain of Knowledge with a promise that education will get special attention.
Today, the fountain, we want to sustain the water in it. We want to actually make it a fountain of knowledge. And this budget is going to play a major role in the handling of education.
The bill to disband the Ekiti State Peace Corps created by the Kayode Fayemi administration was also signed into law.
The Ekiti Peace Corps, the original conception of it was to be used for things other than the good of it. And for us, they are only answering the name, but the intention is different. We have the police, we have other agencies that can enforce the laws of the land. And therefore, the law that has established the Peace Corps in Ekiti has been repealed.
The governor also signed into law the grant of pension bill. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a commercial break. We'll be back shortly with more stories. Join us again.
My name is Akinwumi Ambode. I'm contesting to be the next governor of our great state, Lagos. We know there is no wealth without health. And as such, we will be going to great lengths to safeguard the health of every Lagosian. Our government will continue to improve upon the primary healthcare program and increase the number and quality of public health centers that can offer 24/7 services. We will reduce the doctor-patient ratio and support health institutions with more equipment and infrastructure. We will make Lagos the envy of all.
Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State.
It's CoreTV News at 7, reaching you live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. For more information on our news, like our Facebook page, is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us at CoreTV News NG. And our YouTube page is youtube.com/CoreTV with a space and news. As the 2015 general elections draw near, a lawmaker from Plateau State representing Pakshin Kanam Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives has urged the electorate to ensure that only people with experience are allowed to go to the National Assembly. Emmanuel Goa says the people will do themselves a great disservice if they let go an experienced lawmaker for a newcomer. He's also of the view that the business of lawmaking requires experience gathered from Parliament over the years.
In legislative work, you know, take Benue for example. Last 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, they came out to endorse Mark for the 4th time. By implication, he's going to spend 20 years in the Parliament. You can imagine the type of legislator he is. Take Abdul Ningi, for example, from Bauchi. He has spent 16 years now. Farouk Lawal in Kano. I mean, this type of people, when they stand, you can listen to how they speak. They speak from a background of an experienced legislator, and they add value to what we deserve, what we desire in Nigeria.
Goa added that glamour for zoning and rotation of political offices in many parts of the country has turned the serious business of lawmaking to a money-making venture.
Unfortunately, from this part of the country, people see it from the perspective of food on the table. Now, if you see it from the perspective that, yes, people need to get food on their table, then that's where you miss the point. But if you look at it from a perspective that you want a sound legislator then you need somebody that has stayed in that sector so that you can groom him to a national leader. Today, David Mark has become a national leader. Whether we like it or not, he has known the rudiments of parliament.
And now the website of Defense Headquarters, defenseinfo.mli.ng, is back online after it was hacked in the face earlier in the day. The hacker described himself on the site as Maniac K for sure. The first spokesman, Chris Olukolade, confirmed that the website has been restored. He described the situation via his Twitter handle as an ISIS-type effort to hack into government platforms. An individual using the Twitter handle at Imam Sadiq 123 had claimed responsibility for the act. The defense spokesman later explained in a statement that the hackers only defaced the front end of the site but failed to infiltrate its database. He noted that the site was targeted because of its role as a major channel for disseminating information on the nation's counter-terrorism campaign. Olukolade added that at Imam Sadiq 123 reports as a hacker has since been knocked off. Nigeria is to recall troops currently involved in peacekeeping missions abroad to boost its counter-insurgency operation in the northeast. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Mary, says the decision was taken at a regional security meeting in Niamey, Niger Republic. Mary also said at a security briefing in Abuja that security forces are still studying the latest video released by the Boko Haram leader, Abubakar Shekau.
Militating against the full operationalization of the multinational joint task force and its apparent collapse, a number of African countries converged in Niamey, Niger Republic, on January 20th, 2015, with the sole aim of seeking authorization from the UN Security Council through the African Union to set up, fund, and deploy a more effective multinational force to fight Boko Haram. While it is expected that this meeting would yield positive results, the Nigerian position at the meeting remains that the challenge of Boko Haram insurgency, though a Nigerian challenge, is a threat to regional and international peace and security, which requires the concerted action of Nigeria and friendly countries to combat. There is a need for a troop surge in operational areas which may require recalling Nigerian troops from peacekeeping missions abroad to enhance the operational capabilities of the Nigerian military. Nigeria and her neighbors should improve on the effective management of their borders, while the Abuja Regional Intelligence Fusion Unit should collaborate with the Intelligence Coordination Center based in Chad in intelligence sharing.
And now France has assured the Economic and Financial Crime Commission of onward support in its continuous effort to curb economic and financial crimes in the country. The assurance was made during a visit by a French delegation led by the police attaché to the embassy in Algeria, Eric Bonicon, to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja. Both parties used the occasion to rub minds on the level of cooperation between the two countries and how it could be further strengthened in the areas of investigation and prosecution.
Relationship clearly demonstrates that no one can commit any economic or financial crime from this country and right into France and think France will give such a person sanctuary from the law. We have partners there who will always liaise with and will make sure that such an individual is brought to book. In the same token, if somebody commits a crime in France and runs to Nigeria, we're always here to liaise with them and ensure that such a person is properly brought to book.
Economic crime in France and come in Nigeria, or in Nigeria and go to France, will be prosecuted.
It's still CoreTV News at 7. We'll take another break shortly. We'll be back for more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
My name is Akinwumi Ambode. I'm contesting to be the next governor of our great state, Lagos. We know there is no wealth without health, and as such, we will be going to great lengths to safeguard the health of every Lagosian. Our government will continue to improve upon the primary healthcare program and increase the number and quality of public health centers that can offer 24/7 services. We will reduce the doctor-patient ratio and support health institutions with more equipment and infrastructure. We will make Lagos the envy of all.
Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State.
Outside Nigeria, Saudi Arabia's King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, who spent almost a decade on the throne of the world's largest oil exporter, died on Friday and was replaced by Crown Prince Salman. The late monarch's half-brother, Mokrem, was named as the new Crown Prince, according to a statement issued to the effect. Abdullah has, however, been buried after the afternoon prayers, with citizens invited to pledge allegiance to the new monarch and Crown Prince at the Royal Palace. King Abdullah, believed to be around 90 years old, was hospitalized on December 31 last year for checks. The royal court announced 2 days later that he had pneumonia and was breathing with the aid of a tube. Abdullah came to the throne in 2005 but had been a powerful figure in the kingdom of a decade before that, after King Fahd suffered a stroke in 1995. In recent years, Abdullah's advanced age and poor health have raised concerns about the future leadership of the largest producer in the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Abdullah's half-brother Salman 79 became Crown Prince in June 2012 following the death of Prince Nayef bin Abdulaziz. Salman has been representing the king at most recent public events because of Abdullah's ailing health. In March 2014, King Abdullah named another half-brother, Prince Mokrem, as the second Crown Prince, in an unprecedented move aimed at smoothing succession hurdle. Mokrem, a former Air Force officer born in 1945, is the youngest son of King Abdulaziz Al Saud, the founder of Saudi Arabia. And now thousands of mourners gather Friday for the funerals of 2 young teachers who are activists alleged were murdered by soldiers in northern Myanmar, just as the government promised an inquiry into their death. Tearful well wishes packed into Hall in Menyika, the state capital of war-torn northern Kachin state, to pay respects to the 2 women whose death sparked out an outpouring of public anger and grief. The crowd swelled into the thousands and spilled out into surrounding roads as service began, according to a witness at the scene. The battered bodies of the women were discovered early this week when students visited their house in a remote village near the border town of Muse in northern Shan State, worried after they had failed to turn up for morning lessons. The Kachin Baptist Convention, which ran the school where the women worked, has said it believes they were raped and severely beaten before being killed. Images of their injured corpses have been widely circulated on social media, stirring outrage.
I am campaigning for true justice for the 2 teachers who were brutally killed and raped. We demand safety for women. We are not safe in this country. We want the government to ensure that the criminal acts by the army are judged in civilian courts.
Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at 7. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Coleman. Join us at 9:45 for our primetime elections. Good evening.